It's 6 o'clock. News is next over the Bahamas Radio Network.
Business owners are excited about ZNS Northern Service Storm Central Hurricane packages because advertising rates are discounted up to 50%. That's right, get 50% off advertising packages this hurricane season from now through November 30th. Call our sales department at 351-3430 or 352-9713 and book your advertising package today.
A lot of people are getting involved in these issues because they don't have a means to express themselves. We could deal with so many issues of violence that are going on in our community if we just give our young people in particular an opportunity to say what's on their mind. One thing I say is that one way or another, our youth are going to make themselves heard.
What I love most about working for the Bahamas Tonight is that we don't only focus on New Providence. We cover the entire Bahamas. We have a team here in the Northern Bahamas that is ready to bring you the stories, the people, and the news that matter to you. From point A to Z, from covering hurricanes to elections and everything in between.
You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.
Coming up first at 6, immediate preparation. National Emergency Management Agency officials urging residents to prepare for the peak of the hurricane season. Administrator suspended. The Minister of Health confirming that the hospital administrator has been placed on leave. And more petitions. Eleuthera students pledging to save Lighthouse Point.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, first at 6. This portion of the news is brought to you by BTC every day.
National Emergency Management Agency officials providing an update today on what the country can expect this busy hurricane season. Good evening, Bahamas. I'm Altaviz Munnings. Welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, first at 6. Thanks for tuning in. Officials at the National Emergency Management Agency advising the public to be prepared for the peak of the hurricane season as 3 storms, Florence, Isaac, and Helene, are currently active in the Atlantic. Director of NEMA, Captain Stephen Russell, says that in the wake of the recent storms, they have ordered new equipment to help first responders and island administrators should a major disaster occur.
The handheld radios hope will help them to be able to more effectively coordinate and communicate within their local districts. So we hope to have them on stream hopefully by the end of October. The goods are en route to us now from Japan, okay? So all the goods were produced in Japan and they were shipped here, so they will arrive. I think it's time that they're here now, to have them here as a part of our inventory. We're quickly trying to get them licensed, inspected, and insured this week. Have the guys do some more practical training, because I want these guys and practice taking this on and off the Defense Force ships to make sure they're comfortable with it, okay? That's where we are.
Deputy Director of the Bahamas Department of Meteorology, Basil Dean, explained the impact Hurricane Florence will have on the Bahamas.
Tomorrow morning, we anticipate some very large sea swells, which would propagate southward. We anticipate wave heights as much as 18, possibly even 20 feet, hitting the coastlines of some of our more easterly islands, namely Abaco to our north, Eleuthera, and Cat Island. Those are the more easterly islands of the Bahamas, which are exposed to the Atlantic Ocean, and hence these large swells will be a major problem for residents along the coast, and hence we are asking beachgoers to simply just stay out of the waters during this period. We expect the swells to remain with us right through Friday, at which time we expect them to start subsiding a bit.
Also making news this Tuesday, first at 6, Minister of Health, Dr. the Honorable Dwayne Sands, confirming that Princess Margaret Hospital Administrator Mary Walker has been suspended and is on administrative leave. The move comes 2 weeks after an internal memo from the Public Hospitals Authority was reportedly leaked regarding a proposed $60 fee that should have been charged to transport dialysis patients of the Princess Margaret Hospital. However, the health minister did not confirm what led to the action being taken and whether or not it was a disciplinary move. Speaking to reporters before the weekly cabinet meeting this morning, Minister Sands confirmed that the hospital administrator was placed on 2 weeks' leave.
Every staff member is due process. And so if you're on administrative leave, there's obviously a process that is followed so that we adhere to the human resources policies and procedures. And I think that's about as much as I'd like to say about that.
Dr. Sands also responded to whether there were internal issues with the hospital's upper management.
We are always trying to identify the right team for the management of the hospital. I don't want to conflate issues. At the end of the day, what we try to do is make sure that the right persons are in the right place at the right time in order to provide services to the Bahamian public.
As Hurricane Florence approaches the eastern coast of the United States, officials at the Bahamas Consul General Office in Atlanta, Georgia, continue to monitor the system. Officials there advise Bahamians residing in the Georgia area to prepare immediately for the storm's landfall. They're also asking students to private message them on their Facebook page with their name, email, telephone contacts, and the college and university they're attending to get information on warnings, potential evacuations, shelter locations, as well as emergency support. Minister of Foreign Affairs, the Honorable Darren Henfield, also warned Bahamians living in that area not to wait until the last minute to prepare.
Our Consul General office in Atlanta is actually responsible for that area. We have made contact and we've determined that from the reports that we're getting from our Consul General, Roll, who's in Atlanta, that there are about 90 Bahamians between South and North Carolina that we are aware of. And we're advising them to follow all of the advisories, to follow the political and local government leaders to remain safe. We know that they will take all of the necessary steps to avoid or mitigate any injuries.
Today, September 11th, marks the 17th year that America commemorates the anniversary of the September 11th attacks at the World Trade Center in New York and in rural Philadelphia. Minister of Foreign Affairs, the Honorable Darren Henfield, reflected on those events in an interview with our news team and indicated that several security measures have been implemented here in the Bahamas since that tragedy. Minister Henfield noted that the new anti-terrorism bill has made way for persons found guilty of a crime of terrorism to be fined $25 million or face 25 years in prison.
We will not rest on our laurels or think that we're an ostrich with our head in the sand and not take steps to remain vigilant and on watch to protect those who, Bahamians, and those who also visit our shores. I think this is very important for us, particularly in a touristic economy such as the Bahamas. We have a responsibility as a member of the international community, like all countries who are right-thinking in the world, to do whatever we can to mitigate terrorism.
Now to news from the Daily Crime Report. Police need your help to locate 52-year-old Hensley Pennerman. His picture is on your screen. Pennerman is known to have lived in the Chippingham community. Now, police in the capital want to question him in connection with burglary, armed robbery, and sexual assault. Pennerman is described by police as standing 5 feet 8 inches tall with a slim build and dark brown complexion. Anyone who knows the whereabouts of Hensley Pennerman is asked to contact the Central Detective Unit or your nearest police station. Well, despite public criticism of police officers following a number of police-involved shootings that have resulted in deaths this year, Chairman of the Police Staff Association, Sonny Miller, encourages officers to stay focused. His comments came after the coroner's court recently, in 2 incidents, ruled that a single officer unlawfully killed 2 victims in separate incidents in 2013. Miller says while there may be a few bad apples on the police force, officers, for the most part, look to protect the public.
Despite what we see or what we hear being going on in the current coroner's court or anything like that, listen, let's not stray away from doing our job. Let's not stray away from doing our job because we know at the end of the day, so long as we do what's right, we're covered. We're going to be protected. So again, just to say hats off to our members who continue to work hard.
Miller admitted that police officers perform a very difficult job, the intensity of which many in the public often overlook. He urged new officers to look to senior officers who have a wealth of knowledge and learn as much as they can.
We make the ultimate sacrifice. So people don't know when in most cases, people don't know when we cry, people don't know who we cry to. As a matter of fact, the criminal element of our society, quite frankly, don't care whether we cry or not. But there are cases where we call one another up and we have to encourage one another to, listen, let's continue work. We may have one or two that may have been discouraged based on results that came out of coroner's court, things that we think were clear-cut. Again, we believe public perception may have played a role in one or two things.
Still to come, find out how you can participate in an upcoming auction. That story and more when First at 6 returns on the next side of the break.
You can count on me. Just call me and I'll come running. No matter the...
I got into comedy from the day I was born, and I look up and I saw who my parents was. I know my life is gonna be interesting.
The Bahamian people inspire me, like 100%.
I think the keys of the success to the band Visage has been the ability to stay relevant for the many years that the band has been around.
Technology, it keeps me connected.
What technology have done for me is priceless.
I don't know how I would be able to survive without it.
If I would describe BTC into one word, I would say innovative.
Family all around.
Communications lifeblood of the Bahamas.
My name is Dawn Pinder. I work at Regular Chocolate and Cigar Company. I am the inventory manager. I have been a customer of Commonwealth Bank for the past 3 years, March 2015 to be exact. At this time, I have a loan with them. That was the reason why I went to Commonwealth Bank. And I now have my checking account and my savings account with Commonwealth Bank. It was easy, simple. They trusted me. I didn't have any accounts with them, and they gave me the loan. I will recommend Commonwealth Bank to my friends. I have actually recommended it to a few of my coworkers here that have had the exact same experience that I've had at Commonwealth Bank. I would definitely say that Commonwealth Bank is the bank for the Bahamian people.
This portion of the news brought to you by Commonwealth Bank, your leader in personal banking.
Thanks so much for staying with us. With the claim that more than 20,000 signatures are signed on a petition to save the Lighthouse Point in Eleuthera, residents of that island and local and national non-government organizations are making it clear that the unsustainable development of the area will not be supported. These signatures, they claim, is a clear message to government that they should instead support a sustainable development option. Students from the Central Eleuthera High School are the newest group from the island to come forward and oppose the Disney development of the Lighthouse Point. They stopped by our studios hoping to encourage Bahamians to join in their campaign to save Lighthouse Point.
I've heard stories from my grandfather and my mother about places, specifically beaches, that they used to go to when they were my age, but now I can't go there anymore because they're restricted due to implementation of selling it and then putting infrastructure on it, making development. It would really deprive a lot of Eleutherans the opportunity to experience what is on their own island.
So when we went there, we experienced the different environment, the plants, the animals that are there. And breaking that down will destroy all of that, what I just said. And we're trying to upbuild it and make it like a national park so that you can visit. And we're trying to we're trying to let more Bahamians to come and see the Lighthouse Point because it is gorgeous. It is very beautiful. We're not trying to close it off. We just want people to come and visit Save Lighthouse Point, and you could go on Instagram, Facebook, and Snapchat and do hashtag Save Lighthouse Point, hashtag Stand With Us.
For the prevalence of breast cancer in the Bahamas, the Sister Breast Cancer Support Group has made a mission to be supportive and give assistance to those who find themselves diagnosed. With that in mind, the organization will be hosting an event next month to raise funds for what member Sandra Lee Edgar says is a very worthy cause. She says Sister is preparing to host a celebration of life to raise much-needed funds. A key part of that fundraising event will be a silent auction where the Breast Cancer Support Group will auction off a 2019 Toyota Rush. Bids start at $25,000.
We're having a dinner dance on October 27th at the Balmoral. It's at 8 p.m. Cocktails start at 8 p.m. It's only a small donation of $125 when you're supporting such a serious cause. So it's really small, and we're hoping to get the community involved and to come out and support the group.
Edgar says she joined the organization because she believes in the cause and wants to make an effort to give back, and she encourages others to do the same.
I have several friends that were diagnosed, so I said, you know, it's time for me to give back as best as I can. And that so far has been my time. And as I grow in the organization, hopefully my wallet will grow as well, so I can give back some more of that as well.
From locally grown peppers to processed products like jams and pepper sauces made from local ingredients, vendors at the Gladstone Road Farmers Market have it all on display at their weekly market. For a little over a year now, one of those vendors, Michael Francis, has been growing a vertical garden where he grows a variety of peppers that he says are his passion, along with sweet peppers, thyme, and tomatoes. The vendor says with farming, profit is not instant, but it requires a certain degree of commitment.
You have to have a passion for farming or develop a passion for farming. Once the passion is there, then the profit can come later. If you don't have a passion, you would probably get dissolved, or they start to get tired, and you know the profit ain't coming in on time, and it's harder for you to stay in that type of business if the passion isn't there. This is my first year doing it, and actually I've already did my vertical garden and build it and used the money to build it. The thing I'm now it's time that I'm reaping the profit, because I don't have to buy pots no more. I don't have to build a vertical garden or the materials no more. So all I do is just take in the seedlings and the seeds from my past production and just keep growing them. So I don't even have to buy seeds no more, because I'm germinating my own seeds and everything now.
Vendor Sarah Constantine has been producing jams and pepper jellies she made from local fruits in 80 different flavors. She's been doing it for the past 11 years and carrying on a family tradition, as both her mother and grandfather made preserves. Constantine says a particular flavor is always in demand.
Guava jam, no matter what else you make, guava jam is most popular. Other than that, the regular straight gold pepper jelly is another favorite, but I've also made sapodilly, which is new. I made a sapodilly pepper jelly. I have a soursop. I have juju. As long as it's grown in the Bahamas, I know that I can make something with it. Everybody come on down and see what we as Bahamians, the talent we have to offer.
Well, if you haven't heard yet, the Bahamas National Youth Choir is gearing up for another round of auditions. They're all set for tomorrow evening. And if you think you have what it takes vocally, this may interest you. Our news team spoke with choir director Dexter, who talks about the requirements and some of the upcoming events he's looking forward to.
We've gotten a lot of requests. We're looking forward to them. Tomorrow will be auditions. That was Wednesday the 12th at the Kirk Presbyterian Church on Shirley Street. We're looking for individuals between the age of 15 to 25 who are interested in being representatives for the Bahamas. We're just looking for the quality of sound. So we're asking them to prepare a solo, and then we will do some vocal exercises, see how high and how low they can go. This semester we got an invitation from John Gray, Pastor John Gray, and we're making efforts to make that this semester. And of course, this is our 10th-year Christmas concert, so we're going to make it grand.
Well, still talking culture, first at 6. In a matter of weeks, a new Junkanoo Museum will open its doors, hoping to get the attention of Bahamians and visitors fascinated by our #1 cultural expression. Dozens of Junkanoo costumes from parades as far back as 2006 will be on display. Our LaDon Davis got a sneak peek of the museum that still has a lot more work before its soft launch.
I have over 40 pieces of costumes on the floor of the museum.
It's called Juju Canoe, a Junkanoo art museum designed to give visitors and Bahamians alike a taste of what the country's #1 cultural expression has to offer all year round. Designer and tailor Victor Juju Johnson was influenced by the late architect and Junkanooer Jackson Burnside to carve out all things uniquely Bahamian to exhibit for future generations.
I do most like dances, small costumes. I can do just about everything in Junkanoo, and also I can do large costumes, but I choose not to simply because to host them is difficult. You need space. So I have thought that with myself, I at least do about 20 pieces of costume just about every year for different Junkanoos from different groups.
Johnson's cousin and designer Terrence Red Eye McSweeney gave us a breakdown on the creativity behind most of the Junkanoo masterpieces on display in the museum.
You will see a special piece of a wedding dress out of crepe paper. You will see crepe paper being used in different art designs and form. You will see the different structures of costumes that he does. And being an experienced person who has trained and did his tailoring training over in New York, he has brought all that back home.
And while Johnson agrees that the Bahamas is rich with talent, he believes more must be done to promote Junkanoo products on the world stage. Johnson also credited the work of a Bahamian icon for sharing in his vision.
I see a lot of tourists walking about, no place to go, nothing to see. We don't have any entertainment for them as such like that. And you know, I admired a good friend of mine, Sparabas. He's doing a wonderful job in doing things like that, you know. And I thought about this about maybe 8-10 years ago to do this.
The Shell Saxon superstar at heart plans to do a soft launch at the end of the month. LaDon Davis, ZNS Network News.
Thanks, LaDon. Well, that does it for National News First at 6. Stay with us. Jonathan Benson is next with sports.
That portion of the news was brought to you by Commonwealth Bank, the leader in personal banking services.
Guys, come on. It's time to go. We are the team, man.
Mom Genius.
On Tuesdays, get 9 delicious pieces of chicken for just $11.50 plus VAT. KFC, made for moms who know how to solve everything, even though it seems it can't be done.
At Fourth Terrace Diagnostic Center, we provide imaging services to meet all your family's needs. Same goes for imaging at Grosvenor. We're the imaging experts. We never schedule multiple appointments, so you'll be in and out in no time. And if your initial screening reveals a concern, our radiology specialist can consult your doctor and conduct an alternative screening right then and there. Results are ready within 24 hours. Call 328-8157 to schedule an appointment at Fourth Terrace Diagnostic Center or Imaging at Grosvenor today.
ZNS Total Sports is brought to you by Fourth Terrace Diagnostic Center.
Welcome to sports, everybody. There have been a number of claims in which Bahamian student athletes have been denied visas for entrance into the United States. Minister of Foreign Affairs, the Honorable Darren Henfield, gave some insight on why this might be happening.
A student who has a full ride scholarship to go play basketball for the University of North Carolina, let's just use that one as an example. And he's asked by a consular officer at the U.S. Embassy, why are you going to the United States? He's actually going for an education. He's going on an academic scholarship, but he's an athlete. And if he says, or she says, well, I'm going to play ball, then you could potentially be flagged. And so we're looking into all of these reports right now actively. We're talking constantly with the Americans about how we could better facilitate our students in particular.
Now, one way to avoid the student visa saga is to attend the University of the Bahamas and become a Mingo. The Mingo's men's basketball team not only competes against foreign colleges and universities, but they are also a part of the New Providence Basketball Association. And when the local league gets underway, expectations will be at an all-time high.
Each year we've been progressing step by step by step, winning playoff games, going deep into the playoffs. So really, if we're not going to the championship locally this year and possibly even on to a national title, then the year may be considered a loss.
Government League basketball back on the floor last night at the AF Valley Gym. The Defence Force Mariners and Department of Correction challengers up first. This one going right down to the wire, with the Mariners holding on by the slimmest of margins, 72-71. Reynold Cummer led the Mariners with 17 points. Blair Allen adding 11. Ronaldo Antonor followed with 10. In the loss, Tristan Strachan posted a double-double, 18 points and 14 rebounds. Vance McPhee also with 18 points. Crispin Gibson finishing up with 15, while Kyle Wilson he had 11. As for last night's feature game, the Aces had an easier time with the Police Crime Stoppers winning 71-58. Mark Hanna led the victors with 21 points. Brian Tucker Bain was hot from behind the three-point arc. He finished up with 19 points. On the losing end, Vernon Stubbs, he was the lone Crime Stopper in double figures with 12. League play picks back up again tonight. The Mariners back on court against the NIB Kings. That's followed by the Cyclops and the Airport Authority Avengers. From the minor league baseball diamond, just one Bahamian left playing. Chazrado Chisholm and Visalia will host Rancho Cucamonga tonight. That's in the opening game of the California League Championship. That series is a best of 5. It's win or go home tonight for the Platinum Pool Liddy Sharks in the Province Softball Association's first-round playoffs. The Sharks find themselves down 2-1 to the Johnson Truckers in this best-of-5 series. A win by the Truckers, and they will move on to face the Sunshine Auto Wildcats in the finals. The men's championship series already set. The Commander Security Truckers will square off against the C&S Hitmen. Nathan Eldon making a name for himself in the sport of darts. He recently returned home after competing and holding his own in the Caribbean Cup.
I started darts 2 years ago because my dad used to play, so he encouraged me to play as well. But going to the Caribbean Cup was a wonderful experience, getting to shoot against such wonderful competitors. And it was wonderful to be able to win against people with much more experience than I have.
And that is your first look at sports. Don't go anywhere. First at 6 is back after the break.
ZNS Total Sports is brought to you by Fourth Terrace Diagnostic Center.
We'll be with you through new beginnings and sunset endings, through toil and many tears, through the joys and many fears. For all of life's ever-changing moments, trust J.S. Johnson Insurance Agents and Brokers for all of your insurance needs. J.S. Johnson Insurance Agents and Brokers, giving you peace of mind.
ZNS is everywhere you are when you download the new ZNS app. Watch our live channel to keep up with what's going on in the nation. News updates, we've got you covered. Tune into our radio stations with just a swipe. On the road, on the go, we're here with you. Available for download on the App Store and the Google Play Store.
Time now for weather.
In our first look at weather, the tropics very hot this evening. We have an area of low pressure in the northwest Caribbean Sea trying to get itself together. We anticipate that once it gets into the warm waters of the Gulf of Mexico, that could become a tropical depression. And then we have Isaac just to the south, to the east, pardon me, of the West Antilles, just below hurricane strength, moving towards the west at about 70 miles per hour, and that will make landfall around Thursday. And then Florence is a major hurricane moving towards the Carolina. It's a Category 4. And we expect some large sea swells to impact portions of the northwest Bahamas tomorrow. We'll tell you more about that later in the newscast, so stay tuned. Outside of our studios, partly cloudy skies, temperature 89 degrees, your relative humidity at 68%, northeast winds at 12 miles per hour, your barometric pressure 1,014.6 millibars, that's 29.96 inches, and it is steady. That's going to do it for your first look at weather at 6. Stay tuned while weather is still to come.
Thanks so much, Basil. That does it for First at 6. It's time now for a check on stories making news around the Northern Bahamas.
Responsible for line staff at the Grand Lucayne weighing in on the official change in operation. 4 men wanted by police, and Miss Grand Bahama coming under fire.
The Bahamas Tonight Northern Edition starts now.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening, all. I'm Shashina Wolf-Arkinson. As always, it is so great to have you with us. Today, September 11th, marks the official change in operators at the Grand Lucayne Resort from Hutchison Lukai Limited to the Government of the Bahamas under Lucayne Renewal Holdings Limited. Tonight, the Commonwealth Union of Hotel Services, the union responsible for line staff, is weighing in on this deal, noting that their priority is the protection of their members. The union says it was no surprise at all when employees received a letter notifying them that as of September 11th, the government would be responsible for the Grand Lucayne property. Counsel and attorney for the Commonwealth Union, Pleasant Bridgewater, during a press conference with President Michelle Dorsett by her side, stated that the union will do everything in its power to ensure the rights of the workers are protected during and after this transition. She says they have spoken directly with the Minister of State for Grand Bahama, the Honorable Kwesi Thompson, about this process.
We've been assured that the position of the government is that no employee would be disadvantaged. As of today's date, we are informed that the ownership of the hotel now is turned over to the government. And so we accept that. We also have been informed that all of the liabilities and the obligations as relates to the workers have also been turned over to the government. We've also been assured that the benefits that would have accrued to each worker continues.
Attorney Bridgewater says employees who want to retire can take their package and will receive anything that is legally owed to them under the law or by any existing agreement with the hotel.
We've been assured by the government have a right to continue. No one will be terminated, as it is not the government's intention, we are told, to terminate any services. In fact, we are told that the main purpose of acquiring this hotel at this stage, or for whatever period, is to ensure that the employment of the workers there and the general economy of Grand Bahama is maintained as much as possible.
Bridgewater adds that there is no reason at this point for them to doubt the government, and they are satisfied that this should be a smooth transition.
There are some back pay outstanding to workers based on agreement that was with the union and the hotel, and even the union before this one, the Bahamas Hotel Catering and Allied Workers Union. And we've also submitted those back pay claims to the government, and we have been assured as recent as yesterday that the government is looking at them, considering them. Of course, everything has to be verified, because at the end of the day, money will be paid out. And so they're looking at the figures, making sure they're accurate as possible. And we've been assured that based on whatever's calculated to be true calculation, that they would be paid, those workers would be paid.
Over the past few months, the government has received much backlash for the purchase of the Grand Lucayne Hotel. However, the union contends that they support this move.
It's not government's policy to do it, but in the circumstances, I believe that the government honestly felt that this was the best thing to do at this stage. And I'm hopeful, based on what the minister has said too, that they will do everything within their power to offload it as quickly as possible and to bring in private owners.
Now, Attorney Bridgewater says while some employees are still nervous about the sale, they can rest assured that the union will continue to work on their behalf.
In other news, infrastructural improvements are underway in the coastal community of Smiths Point. Work on a seawall is nearing completion, and some attention is being given to the state of the roadway in that area as well. Megan Shepard has an update.
It has been 13 months since WAR Construction resumed responsibility for the construction of the seawall in the Smiths Point community. Now, officials say they're in the demobilization phase, and in a matter of weeks, the road will be open to the public once again. Member of Parliament for Central Grand Bahama and Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Public Works, Aram Lewis, says this initiative was all in an effort to preserve one of the island's oldest settlements.
We are comfortable in knowing that the protective seawall is up. We did now have a fortress. With respect to the community itself, it gives the community a facelift. With proper infrastructure being in place, you now have the opportunity for businesses to spin off. It's going to be a pleasant ride along in the afternoon or during the daytime. Of course, you can see with this wide sidewalk, it's going to be a pleasant walk. So, of course, it's going to be a draw. And once you have critical mass, there are always business spin-offs. So I expect that businesses in the community will certainly grow. Officer in charge of the Ministry of Works on Grand Bahama, Tony Hudson Bannister, says that they are pleased with the quality of work carried out on the structure. Vice President of WAR Construction, Brian Waugh, noting that additional work still has to be carried out in the area. He adds that speed bumps will be added and the 12-foot wall will be outfitted with guardrails for the safety of all.
So we are proud to say that we can see the finish line. Finally, we have in excess of 1,300 linear feet of a strong concrete wall, about 12 feet high, and a beautiful reinforced concrete sidewalk. And we're now finishing up here at the site. We are in the phase of paving the dual roadway, and we're working on a few additional items to the contract, which would include additional drainage, some lighting we're looking into.
Got several small items to deal with. We've got to put some speed bumps on the road and some striping, as well as the rails and stuff for the wall itself.
Lewis notes that not only was the project completed within budget, but that additional works will also be carried out throughout the wider community.
We have some contingency sum in the project, as there are always unknowns, and we're happy to say that approval was given for some of the road works throughout the community to now be paved, and we are pricing those areas. We'd use the same contractor, WAR, since they are already on site. We don't have to mobilize any new contractors. They will just continue on with the work, and the same quality that they've done here in the seawall, we expect that to be done throughout the community, and in fact even raise it to the next level.
The seawall has also been constructed with a ramp to provide access for all. The roads are expected to be ready for vehicular traffic within 6 weeks. Megan Shepard, ZNS Network News.
The Bahamas Telecommunications Company Northern Region sharing BTC's plan for the telecommunications sector. Despite the competition, BTC maintains that it remains the top choice in the business. Vice President of BTC Northern Region, Trevor Turnquist, says BTC is working hard to remain the country's #1 telecommunications provider. Despite competition, he says there are a number of features that solidifies BTC as the leader in the market.
The services that we probably presently have, we're going to make sure that that's upgraded. You're going to see better internet speeds, better resolution times. Of course, we're pushing our IPTV products, so that's something that we want everyone to experience. I think you'll be very pleased with it. It comes with a lot of features that the other operators don't have at the moment. I'm sure they'll be trying to catch up with us, but things like catch-up TV and play from beginning, rewind. So when you miss something that you didn't understand or want to see again, you can rewind for a few minutes and see it again.
Speaking of competition, he admits that Alive has been a factor in BTC's operation.
We have seen persons a move over, and that's a given on any new product. A person's going to try. Because equally, we have seen persons come back to us. So we're not worried about that. We're here to do our best and provide a quality service to the customer. And that's one of the things that we aim to do, and we will be certain that we do. No customer should be without service, or an essential service that they're paying for.
Based on published reports earlier this year, the Bahamas Telecommunications Company, or BTC, has lost over 60,000 mobile customers, almost 20% of its market, in just over 1 year as a result of this competition. But Turnquest shares why many have returned.
It's BTC. You know, they know this quality service, and they know that we have been here a long time. We know the product. We know how to service our customers, and they return for that experience.
The VP says one thing is sure: BTC will remain a good corporate citizen through sponsoring major events. In news from the Crime Beat, police in Grand Bahama needs your help tonight in locating 4 men wanted for questioning in connection with various criminal matters. The first suspect is 39-year-old Omar Penn, a.k.a. Punch of Freeport. He is wanted by the Criminal Detective Unit for murder. Penn is described as 5 feet 9 inches tall, brown complexion, medium build, with a scar on his right jaw near his lips. Next is 41-year-old Omar Roll of Sea Grape, 8 Mile Walk. He is wanted by CDU for making threats of death. Roll is 5 feet 7 inches tall, brown complexion, medium build, and stutters when speaking. Now, the third suspect is 71-year-old Gerald Alexander Russell, a.k.a. Jerry. He is wanted by police on the charge of fraud by false pretenses. Russell has gray hair, brown complexion, and medium build. His last known address is Freeport. The fourth wanted man is Rashad Ashton Fox, age 30, of Sandy Point, Abaco. Now, he's wanted by the Abaco Police Division in connection with a shooting and a missing person incident. Fox is 6 feet tall, 190 pounds, dark brown complexion, and heavy build. If you can help police locate any of these suspects tonight, you should call 352-1919, 911-919, or your nearest police station. Switching gears now, the Grand Bahama Development Company witnessing an uptick in real estate sales, and this increase is coming from locals. Senior legal counsel Sharice Brown says that they're also focusing on the new Providence market as property is more affordable in Freeport.
We've actually had a very good broad base in Nassau, and it fell off for the past few years, and so we need to recapture that market. We know that most of our population is there, and it's just a market waiting to be tapped. Our average sale price for property is $30,000, 10% down, in-house financing. We do the legal work ourselves, so you don't have the added cost of an attorney. So all of those advantages to buying property here in Grand Bahama and from the development company.
Now, DevCo recently introduced an express line for customers who make property payments to DevCo, as well as service charges payments to Lusco. You're watching The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Stay with us. There's more news right after this break.
This portion of the news is brought to you by Dolly Madison, Freeport's original home center.
It's time to come on down now to the plant nursery at Dolly Madison. They're loaded with indoor and outdoor plants, fruit trees, landscaping plants, flowering plants, herbs, and more at the plant nursery at Dolly Madison. And if you need advice, the friendly, courteous staff at Dolly Madison is there to assist. And don't forget to pick up your soil, fertilizers, and other accessories. Don't wait. Come on down now.
Hi, I'm Wes. I'd like to put some shoes on your feet.
Hi, I would like to put some shoes on your feet.
Hi, I want to put some shoes on your feet.
I want to put some shoes on your feet.
Hi, I want to put some shoes on your feet.
Let us put shoes on your feet.
Yes, the soloists, Paula Rose, and the Grand Bahama Chorale will perform at the HIV/AIDS Survivors Benefit Concert on Sunday, September 30th at the Church of Peace Center.
Stay informed on your local weather forecast this 2018 hurricane season. Your #1 news station, the ZNS Television Network. We've got you covered. covering the Northern Bahamas? You're watching the Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Welcome back. The new Miss Grand Bahama is coming under fire tonight, and social media users and residents are calling for her immediate resignation. Apparently, the new Miss Grand Bahama, 17-year-old Evina Gibson, made a post on her Instagram page offending Bahamians while paying homage to the Haitian community. On the post, the young woman is photographed posing in a one-piece swimsuit with a caption that reads, "Ha ha, not a Bahamian, sorry, too gorgeous to be, big up to my Zoes." Well, Bahamians took to social media expressing their disappointment for this offensive statement. We reached out to the Miss Grand Bahama pageant to get their take on the controversy. We spoke with advisor and official host April Crotha-Gao, who is apologizing for the young woman's comment and what they are calling a misjudgment. Gao contends that despite this misjudgment, the organization believes that Gibson can still represent Grand Bahama on the world stage and should still be allowed to fulfill her duties and her obligations. Gao noting that because of the backlash on social media, the reigning queen, Evina Gibson, is not doing well at this time, and says young people should be encouraged that regardless of one's heritage or if they are, quote, full Bahamian or not, the goal is to make the Commonwealth of the Bahamas better. And now to our Generation Y report. Tonight we meet a young man who is focused and determined to make a difference here at home. He has made a big change in his career pursuits and says it's due to his deep compassion for others. Here's Italia Hall.
21-year-old David Ferguson is a junior at Taylor University, but has been excelling since he was a young boy, as he was a part of the national debate team and received top scores in the national examinations. Shortly after high school, he moved to the United States to pursue tertiary education. His first choice was to become an engineer, but soon after he realized that he wanted to become a physician with a focus in radiation oncology, which will take a total of 10 years.
Cancer is a multidimensional problem, and it requires a team of people. It requires social workers, it requires a medical oncologist, it requires a radiation oncologist, it requires a team of people. And I like working in teams. I like the camaraderie associated with teams. And I also like working in teams to solve problems. That's one thing that initially drew me to engineering. But I also recognize that you can do that in any field, just based on your approach to that field. You can work in a team and collaborate to solve a problem.
David says his drive comes from his faith in God, his parents, and his desire to do more in life. He says this summer he had an opportunity to work at one of the local clinics, which solidified his choice. He says it is his plan to return home someday and to give back to his country.
Yes, more hands make work light, but more brilliant minds or more minds working together to help solve the problem will possibly help us to have a better outcome.
But throughout his academic journey, he says there's a very important lesson that he has learned, which is balance.
It's important to rest. Yes, it's important to work hard. Yes, it's important to pursue your goals. Yes, it's important to be motivated, but it's also important to rest, relax, to rejuvenate, to find time to spend with friends. What is success if you don't have the people to share it with?
And finally, in news this evening, guidance counselors from schools on Grand Bahama getting some good advice as they embark on a new school year. The educators taking part in a training workshop spearheaded by the Bahamas National Trust. Jay Philippe was there.
The Character Day Teachers Workshop is a seminar that helps prepare students to weather storms they may face in their lives. The aim is to support and partner with educators to create education plans at schools where none exist and to strengthen existing programs.
The purpose of the workshops is to prepare educators to roll out character education in their schools. So we're looking at character education throughout the school year, but also we are focused on Character Day, which will be celebrated on Wednesday, the 26th of September, 2018.
The workshop is in its third year in the Bahamas and is part of a larger international project that is coordinated out of San Francisco, California. Facilitator Helene De Jong talked about what she hopes to achieve through this workshop.
Raise awareness about character education and to have educators look at what they're doing at school and how they can implement building character strengths. We all have character strengths. We believe that we all possess 24 character strengths in varying degrees. So we're trying to examine our 5 superpowers and looking at what goes right in students, what's going well, helping them to identify their superpowers to be able to succeed.
Kelisa Kemp, who is a guidance counselor at the Beacon School and Lewis Yard Primary, has been attending this seminar for the past 3 years.
What I'm looking forward to is taking back from this seminars is creative and innovative ways on how I can strengthen my students' character and how I can help discover their character strengths.
The coordinators also traveled to Exuma to hold a seminar workshop for educators on that island. Reporting for ZNS Network News, I'm Jay Philippe.
Thanks, Jay, and that's a look at stories making news in the North. And now it is time to Ask the Doctor.
Hi, and welcome. Brian asked, I witnessed an accident where someone was hit by a car, and there were a lot of bystanders, and we didn't know what to do. What do you do when witnessing something like this? Brian, thank you for such an important question. The truth is, most of us go about our everyday lives and never think about what we should do if we see a medical emergency. But this is something we should all know. The first and most basic rule of dealing with a medical emergency is to call 911. Emergency dispatchers have been trained to assist you in identifying and correctly reporting a medical emergency. Every year right here in the Bahamas, our National Emergency Medical Services dispatches an ambulance to approximately 17,000 calls in response to medical emergencies. When you call 911, you will be asked, what is the address or location of the medical emergency? What is your phone number? What is the nature of the medical emergency? What is the patient's age? Is the patient conscious? Is the patient breathing? It is very important that you do not hang up or disconnect from the dispatcher until you are instructed to do so. I'm Dr. Monique Pratt, and this has been Ask the Doctor.
Would you go away? A check on sports is up next with Ramiko Knowles.
September is another month for a hurricane. Plan ahead with Solar Systems and Lights. Solar Up Bahamas, giving you free power throughout the Bahamas. Call 727-4237.
Pizza Hut's Back to School Special. Get a large, one-topping pizza, 5 cheesy breadsticks, and a 2-liter drink for just $19.99. That inclusive at Pizza Hut downtown and Sunrise Highway. The perfect meal at the perfect time. Pizza Hut's Back to School Special. A large, one-topping pizza, cheesy breadsticks, and a 2-liter drink, just $19.99. Or get 2 medium, 2-topping pizzas with any crust, any day, just $8.99 each. For the love of pizza. Pizza Hut.
Welcome to Jags International. We have Celebration, Valeria, FRS, Bahamas Air, Hotel, car vouchers now on sale.
Girls, I tried book my ticket online with them ferry. That's so complicated, they asking for too much.
That's why I stick to Jags. No agency fees or booking fees. Cash and credit, all the same. Blow deals and spectacular services with a smile.
Yes, that's Jags. Your one-stop shop to Fort Lauderdale, Palm Beach, and Miami.
We even offer cheap car rental vouchers to all our thrifty herds and VIP service.
Book now with Jags and get their $5 discount card. And don't forget the super sales going on.
Welcome to Sports 360 with Jay Philippe. We have live in studio today.
It goes down to discipline, taking care of your body, knowing what you need to put into your body.
I've got the national records in the 200, 400, 800 free. We've just got eyes on Tokyo 2020.
Hi, I'm Jay Philippe, and you can tune in every Monday at 12:30 p.m. talking sports.
Power 104.5 FM.
Good evening, all. Welcome to another exciting edition of sports. I'm Ramiko Knowles. First up in sports, Bahamian track athlete Chavez Hart back home taking in some sun, sand, and sea. Hart says he has big things in store for the upcoming season. Jay Philippe has more.
Bahamian Olympic track and field sprinter Chavez Hart, who mainly competes in the 100 meters and 200 meters, stopped by the ZNet studio to talk about the year he's had on the professional circuit.
This year was more so a year for me to get my body right. I didn't compete as much. I've been competing from January to August from 2011, but started taking a toll on my body. I had a high velocity event, and my body started breaking down a bit, so I was like, this year, more so get stronger to get ready for World Champs next year and the Olympics the following year, because, you know, they are the foundation of the sport, and you compete well there, springboard for the rest of the season. So this year is more so getting ready for the following.
His personal best time of 10.10 seconds makes him the second fastest Bahamian of all time, behind Derek Atkins, and the fastest born Bahamian sprinter. He says that the upcoming track season is going to be very critical for him as he aims to set a new national record in the 100 meters.
Honestly, no doubt. I say that without hesitation. That's the reason why I made the sacrifice this year to actually get everything in place for me to go forward. Because while I have a lot in me, I'm at the hill. I just have to cross it.
Chavez Hart, better known as Sparky in the track and field community, says he's happy to be home this offseason, but he says next year's World Championships and the year after 2020 Olympics is where he really plans on making an international splash. I'm Jay Philippe, ZNS Total Sports.
Shawnee Miller-Weibo finishing up with another successful season with an impressive performance at the IAAF Continental World Cup in Ostrava on Saturday. She led Team Americas to win in the 4x100 meters in 42.11 seconds, then came back on Sunday to take the 200 meters in 22.16, and ended the day as part of the mixed relay team with American Christian Taylor, Jamaican Stephanie Ann McPherson, and Lugellen Santos from Australia crossing the line in 3 minutes 13.01 seconds for first place. Donald Thomas, who also competed at the meet and won the high jump with the clearance of 6 feet 5 1/4 inch. The Americas team won, totaling 262 points. Europe, who won the previous championships, was second with 233. Asia Pacific third with 188, and Africa fourth with 142. And that's going to do it for sports. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Ramiko Knowles. Until next time, make it a great one.
Skippers is leading this at the moment, but here comes Shawnee Miller-Weibo. Changes gear, moves away, and Miller-Weibo.
More Makeup by Megan Coakley. When you want to look like a star. Phone 443-7979.
Tired of the endless bank fees and long lines? The Grand Bahama Cooperative Credit Union is the solution to making your money work for you by providing you with free financial counseling, higher interest on savings plans, and lower interest rates on loans. Savings products such as Christmas and vacation club, fixed deposits, and annuity savings allow our members to prepare for today and tomorrow without all the hassle. Join satisfied Bahamians who left their banking frustrations behind. Open an account with GBCCU 352-4139.
Business owners are excited about ZNS Northern Service Storm Central Hurricane packages because advertising rates are discounted up to 50%. That's right, get 50% off advertising packages this hurricane season from now through November 30th. Call our sales department at 351-3430 or 352-9713. Book your advertising package today.
And this one goes out to the staff over there at Kelly's, especially you, Enid. Super blessed. We hope that you guys are having a good one, and thanks for watching. That's going to do it for us here in the North. On behalf of our entire ZNS News team, I'm Shashina Rolf-Farquharson. Thank you so much for tuning in.
ZNS is everywhere you are when you download the new ZNS app. Watch our live channel to keep up with what's going on in the nation. News updates, we've got you covered. Tune into our radio stations with just a swipe. On the road, on the go, we're here with you. Available for download on the App Store and the Google Play Store.
Weekdays, 7 a.m., right here on the ZNS Television Network.
I've been privileged to have been exposed to some great leaders, Christian leaders in the country and abroad. And the unique thing about Freeport Bible Church is that its vision that we have now, which is to love God, love people, and serve the world, is extremely simplistic, but it's profound. And my responsibility now is to build on what was already established.
You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.
Prepare now. National Emergency Management Agency officials urging residents to prepare for the peak of the Atlantic hurricane season. Security heightened. The Minister of Foreign Affairs commenting on security protection for the Bahamas post 9/11. And administrator suspended. The Minister of Health confirming that the hospital administrator has been placed on leave. The Bahamas Tonight, the National Report starts right now.
This portion of the news is brought to you by BTC Every Day.
National Emergency Management Agency officials keeping a close eye on the tropics as 3 storms are active in the Atlantic. Good evening, Bahamas. I'm Altafiz Munnings. Welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. As the United States prepares for the most powerful storm to hit the East Coast in decades, here in the Bahamas, meteorologists say we will feel the effects. Large sea swells can be expected through Friday as the monster storm Florence spares the Bahamas. Today, the National Emergency Management Agency held a press conference encouraging residents to be prepared as the tropics heat up. Crystal Darling leads us off tonight.
With the hurricane season now underway, the National Emergency Management Agency held a press meeting Tuesday to provide boaters and residents with an update on activity in the hurricane development zones. Chief Meteorologist Basil Dean on the impact Hurricane Florence will have on the Bahama Islands.
Tomorrow morning, we anticipate some very large sea swells, which would propagate southward. We anticipate wave heights as much as 18, possibly even 20 feet, hitting the coastlines of some of our more easterly islands, namely Abaco to our north, Eleuthera, and Cat Island. Those are the more easterly islands of the Bahamas, which are exposed to the Atlantic Ocean, and hence these large swells will be a major problem for residents along the coast. And hence we are asking beachgoers to simply just stay out of the waters during this period. We expect the swells to remain with us right through Friday, at which time we expect them to start subsiding a bit.
Dean adds the Atlantic is very active with multiple storms churning simultaneously.
We have two really three name systems. The first one would be Helene, which is in the far eastern Atlantic. That particular hurricane we don't anticipate will be a problem to us here in the Bahamas. We expect it to remain over the open waters of the Atlantic, so it will perhaps just be a problem for mariners traversing the waters of the far eastern Atlantic. And then we have Isaac, which is now a tropical storm. It is expected to intensify to a hurricane once again as it takes aim for the Lesser Antilles, Martinique, Barbados, and islands in the southern Lesser Antilles are expected to be impacted either directly or indirectly.
Director of NEMA, Captain Stephen Russell, says that in the wake of the recent storms, they have ordered new equipment to help first responders and island administrators should a major disaster occur.
The handheld radios hope will help them to be able to more effectively coordinate and communicate within their local districts. So we hope to have them on stream hopefully by the end of October. The goods are en route to us now from Japan, okay? So all the goods were produced in Japan and they were shipped here. So they will arrive, I think it's time that they're here now, to have them here as a part of our inventory. We're quickly trying to get them licensed, inspected, and insured this week. Have the guys do some more practical training, because I want these guys on practice taking this on and off the Defense Force ships to make sure they're comfortable with it, okay? That's where we are.
Officials at NEMA are advising the public to be prepared this hurricane season. I'm Crystal Darling, ZNS Network News.
With many Bahamians living and studying in the United States, the focus has shifted there as Hurricane Florence makes its way to the U.S. East Coast. Students in Georgia and the Carolinas have been asked to send private messages to the Bahamas Consul via Facebook with their names, emails, telephone contacts, and schools they're attending. Officials at the consulate in Atlanta, Georgia, encouraging Bahamians there to take the necessary precautions as evacuations have been ordered ahead of the powerful storm Florence. We spoke to Foreign Affairs Minister, the Honorable Darren Henfield.
Our Consul General office in Atlanta is actually responsible for that area. We have made contact and we've determined that from the reports that we're getting from our Consul General Roll, who's in Atlanta, that there are about 90 Bahamians between South and North Carolina that we are aware of. And we're advising them to follow all of the advisories, to follow the political and local government leaders to remain safe. We know that they will take all of the necessary steps to avoid or mitigate any injuries.
Government waiting for assessments to be completed before rebuilding efforts can begin on Ragged Island. That island was devastated by last year's Hurricane Irma. Press Secretary Anthony Nubo said today a number of documents have to be finalized before the rebuilding process begins.
The actual rebuilding of that island, again, waiting for the approval of documents from the Ministry of Works so that the basic infrastructure, police station, nurse's office, before those will actually be reconstructed. The architect standard, the Ministry of Works need to get done with their drawings and approve them for that basic infrastructure to be rebuilt.
Today marks the 17th anniversary of the 9/11 attacks on the United States when hijacked jetliners crashed into the World Trade Center in New York, the Pentagon, and a field in Pennsylvania, killing nearly 3,000 people. Since that fateful day, airport security has been strengthened across the globe, including here in the Bahamas. The Foreign Affairs Minister talked about the connection between the Bahamas and 9/11.
The Bahamas is mentioned, I think, once in the 9/11 Commission report of 2004, where the report indicates that two of the terrorists actually came to the Bahamas in May of 2001, came into Grand Bahama. They had, I think, reservations at the Princess Towers Hotel, but they didn't have the correct credentials at the airport to satisfy immigration authorities that they should permit them entry and return them away. And that's the only nexus that I know that we have with 9/11.
Minister Henfield noted that the Bahamas attracts millions of visitors annually, and we must ensure that everyone is safe.
We will not rest on our laurels or think that we're an ostrich with our head in the sand and not take steps to remain vigilant and on watch to protect those who, Bahamians, and those who also visit our shores. I think this is very important for us, particularly in a touristic economy such as the Bahamas. We have a responsibility as a member of the international community, like all countries who are right-thinking in the world, to do whatever we can to mitigate terrorism.
Also making national news tonight, Princess Margaret Hospital Administrator Mary Walker has been suspended and is on administrative leave for 2 weeks. The move comes 2 weeks after an internal memorandum from the Public Hospitals Authority was reportedly leaked regarding a proposed $60 fee to be charged to transport dialysis patients to the Princess Margaret Hospital. Health Minister Dr. the Honorable Dwayne Sands did not confirm what led to the action being taken and if it was a disciplinary move.
Every staff member is due process. And so if you're on administrative leave, there's obviously a process that is followed so that we adhere to the human resources policies and procedures. And I think that's about as much as I'd like to say about that.
Dr. Sands also responded to whether there were internal issues with the hospital's upper management.
We are always trying to identify the right team for the management of the hospital. I don't want to conflate issues. At the end of the day, what we try to do is make sure that the right persons are in the right place at the right time in order to provide services to the Bahamian public.
It's been an issue that's proven a sore point for many consumers, the cost of fees paid at local banks. It was also one that led to a meeting between the Minister of Labor and the Clearing Banks Association last October. The most recent meeting was held this past Monday that yielded some positive results. Labor Minister Senator the Honorable Dion Fowlkes shared that with reporters before today's weekly cabinet meeting. Consumer protection falls under the minister's portfolio, and all consumer issues is taken to the business community for some resolution.
Some of the banks have lowered their administrative fees for their various services. Also, all of the banks have embarked upon an educational program with respect to their services. Additionally, the Central Bank and the Clearing Bank Association, they have agreed to embark upon a listing of all of the bank fees, or at the minimum, the main fees that the banks charges. Just like the gas stations do, when you open the business sections of the dailies, you see the various price for the per gallon of gas. We intend to do the same thing with the clearing banks so that consumers can know exactly which bank is charging which fee. At the end of the day, the consumer has to be smart, and the consumer has to examine each bank. Each bank have different fees and different schedules for their services. And I encourage people, you're not married to a particular bank. And if you are, get a divorce.
Minister Fowlkes noted that the Central Bank of the Bahamas is also launching an initiative called Get Money Smart Bahamas that consumers can receive information about through its website. While not detailing specific information from the meeting with the Clearing Banks Association, Minister Fowlkes says one of the issues discussed was the cost to cash checks, as well as why the fees saw a hike in the first place.
Some banks have already lowered their fees. I spoke to all 6 of the clearing banks yesterday, and along with the new chairperson, Mr. Bowe, who is from Fidelity Bank. Each bank has addressed that specific issue with respect to the cashing of checks. I would encourage consumers, and that's practically most Bahamians who deal with commercial banks, to go in and talk to your banks and make comparisons and make a judgment call as to which bank you wish to bank at. The big thing was maximizing trying to address the lack of business in the lending part of the banking industry and how they can make up in terms of the loss of revenue from lending.
Still ahead tonight, hear more about what this group is auctioning for a worthy cause. And coming up in sports, we'll take a look at the World Rowing Championships. We're just getting started here on the National Report. We'll see you on the next side of the break. This portion of the news is brought to you by Shell, fueling journeys that matter. Summer promotion.
Driving on West Bay in rush hour? Hard. Getting a car to enjoy the ride? Easy. Carting the kids around after school? Hard. Getting a car to fit them all? Easy. Get an easy auto loan from Commonwealth Bank. Super low rates, fast 24-hour approval, no loan fee, and no payments for 2 months. So come to Commonwealth Bank and your next car is easy. Commonwealth Bank, your leader in personal banking services.
You can count on me. Just call me and I'll come right.
My first memory of music would have been a performance when everyone was singing the song. The song was drop down and come up slow, and everyone in the crowd was singing. I was amazed. I was in shock.
I did not always want to be a performer, you know. I actually wanted to be a doctor. And when I was on my way to med school, I had this little epiphany, and I went to Berklee College of Music, and that's when I made the switch.
If I weren't singing, I'd be singing. I love track and field.
Many different things inspire me. You know, it isn't anything specific. It's just, you know, just enjoying the environment. And that's what I think music should be about, being free.
Tap of a button, I'm able to get in contact with persons all the way across the world. Technology acts as that bridge that keeps me connected.
BTC in one word, I would have to say clutch.
Connected family.
Family.
Every day, every day.
Guys, come on. It's time to go. We are the team, man.
Genius.
On Tuesdays, get 9 delicious pieces of chicken for just $11.50 plus VAT. KFC, made for moms who know how to solve everything, even though it seems it can't be done.
There's nothing as powerful as knowing where you belong. No more waiting. It's time to come home. Come home to friendly smiles. Come home to convenience. Come home to more interest on savings and lower fees. Come home to our bank and your bank. Come home to Bank of the Bahamas, your bank of solutions.
You see me? I love online shopping. And when I heard of Welty.com, I said, wow, what do they have to offer?
Welty.com provides me with everything I need. Like hair, perfumes, furniture for my mom, anything I can think of.
Visit Welty.com today for all your favorite products, like hair, clothes, fragrances, and furniture. You can see the overall cost, layaway, and pay the remaining balance later.
Huh? Welty.com? Duh.
Welty.com. Make life easy.
This portion of the news brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
Several years ago, Franklin Barnett was struck by the driver of a vehicle and can no longer work to provide for himself. He now lives in an abandoned building in the Bain and Grandstown constituency where he tells us he struggles every day. He made this appeal to our Kelsey Johnson for your help.
My condition living is very bad. I'm trying to get out of this place right now.
58-year-old Franklin Barnett sits on a half-constructed wall right in front of his house every day, hoping motorists will stop and assist him. Barnett was not officially ruled a disabled, but cannot work because of his physical ailments. He relies on a battered cane to assist as he walks across the street, where he spends majority of his day asking for food, water, or money. Anything that can help.
I make my food. Ask people for my food, but I don't want to eat. Sometimes they give me money, I go to the shop, buy what I want. Right now, I'm in pain right now. I cannot work, cannot do nothing. I got nothing from me, nothing from nobody.
Although his living conditions are not up to standard, Barnett tries his best to keep his house clean. Barnett admits to not having any inside bathroom facilities. In fact, his toilet bowl is upside down next to the tree outside the window.
No light, no water.
So how do you live?
How do I live by life with God. Huh?
And where do you bathe and urinate and stuff?
Where I bathe? I bathe it now.
In a bucket or?
Yeah.
So where do you release yourself? Pee?
I be in a cup.
In a cup?
Yeah.
And so where do you do the number?
I straight up to the window.
You do number 2 in the cup and you throw it through the window?
Yeah.
What window is that?
No, the window.
On the
side.
What do you?
I don't really press behind you. As I go in the bathroom, use the club bathroom. I use the same bathroom.
Barnett said he bathes in the same bucket he uses to relieve himself, and his clothes are cleaned by loved ones. When asked what happened to his right eye, he said that he started having problems with his vision days after he was struck by a vehicle in the early 80s. He never went to the hospital. Because he is unable to produce any official government-issued documents, Barnett is afraid he will never get the help he needs.
I asked God for me to get out of this building. This building don't belong to me. It belongs to Johnson.
So do you pay rent to them, or they just allow you to live here?
No, I don't pay rent for this. There's a person there, couple of times, taking my clothes, so I didn't know who would be doing it.
Barnett lives through Lewis Street, 3 houses on the right before the Market Street light. He is hoping to get assistance to move into any of the homes for the elderly. Kelsey Johnson, ZNS Network News.
It's being called a September to Remember in the Centerville constituency. Several activities will be held in this part of New Providence this month to enhance camaraderie and business. Joining us live with the details is the Member of Parliament for Centerville, Reese Chipman. Good evening, Mr. Chipman, and welcome to the National Report.
Good evening, Altamise, and thank you all for having me here, and thanks to ZNS as well.
First of all, Mr. Chipman, outline the activities marking a September to Remember.
Yeah, well, it is a September to Remember. The constituency and our office, we are going to be doing a cleanup campaign and a painting campaign in the big yard, which is Windsor Lane. It's one of the government's rental units. It's the bigger one, actually. We will also be doing another cleanup campaign and a park preparation program in the Culmersville area next Saturday. Also, we will be having a street church service. We remember those days when we used to have church along the streets, and so we want to go back there instead of persons having to go out to church. Maybe we can bring church to the community. And so that's a big part of this program for me. We're also looking at encouraging economic activities with several of the businesses in the area. And in that regard, what we're doing is inviting persons from outside of the Centerville area to come in and support some of the local businesses in the Centerville community. So it is a September to Remember, and we're looking forward to it.
Now, what role will youth play in these initiatives?
Well, you know, with the youth, we've done so much with them over the summer. We've had the Little Miss and the Miss Centerville pageant. We've also had the Street Legend basketball program where we would have encouraged young gentlemen in the area to participate in the Street Legend league. They actually were very successful and won that league. And so now the Centerville Chipman champions actually carry the floating trophy for the Street Legends, and so we're going to encourage them some more by inviting them out to lunch next month. And so we'll be doing a lot more with the younger people in October and November, and we'll be celebrating them throughout this time.
Sounds really good. So how are Centerville residents embracing a September to Remember?
You know, I must say how happy I am about the support and the encouragement from the Centerville constituents. They're very excited. The persons in the Windsor Lane area where we have began the painting campaign and the cleanup campaign have been real supportive. They've actually been coming out and helping as well with the project. You know, they haven't seen a cleanup like this or painting in quite some time. You know, it's been a long time is what they would have said to me. And so this is, you know, we are excited. I'm excited, the community is excited, and it really bodes well for encouraging our students who are going back to school and encouraging a safer and cleaner environment in the Centerville community.
Now, Mr. Chipman, as you drive around New Providence, especially the area here in Palmdale, you see the signage saying September to Remember and the activities that you're having. For those who may not have heard yet, who live in the constituency, why would you encourage them to attend the events?
Well, the Centerville, it is a community activity, and anything we do, we encourage the community to participate. And we have 6 billboards where we share positive messages to our community, and we also try to inform them as to what we're doing. And so as they look at the signage, they will see the dates and the times, and for the most part, ultimately, they come out, you know, so it's not so much where we even have to force persons out to assist. And, you know, it makes me real proud and happy being a product of the Centerville community and seeing that after all of these years, we still share such common dreams and common goals, and that's what's inspiring even for me.
Is there a website or email address where anyone who wants to gain some information on the initiatives available?
Yeah, well, our Facebook page, Centerville Constituency, we have a Facebook page where we share most of what's going on in the constituency. And we are now embarking on a web page so that persons in the community will not only see what's going on, but also see the impact of any pieces of legislation that would be passed in the House of Assembly. So we're just trying to keep them up to date. We're living up to your motto here at ZNS. You know, we find it, we seek it out, and then we deliver the message to the people in Centerville. Thank you.
Great information, Mr. Chipman. Thanks for joining us again on the Bahamas tonight. And for those of you who want to help, it's a September to Remember in the Centerville constituency for the entire month of September. Thanks again, Mr. Chipman.
Thank you.
Stay with us. The Bahamas Tonight continues right
after this. This portion of the news was brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
Life is better with Rubis Rewards. Just fuel up and swipe for your chance to win free fuel, cash back in our stores, restaurant and store discounts from our partners, plus prizes and surprises. It doesn't get better than this. Your Rubis Reward tag is free at every Rubis service station in New Providence. Get yours today. Rubis, it's just better.
Exhale, exhale. Now you're home. Now you're home. You can have your peace of mind. Oh, it's family time. We pay attention to the smallest details. Safety and security, we deliver luxury. Serenity, welcome home.
This is your Royal Fidelity Business News. I'm Crystal Darling. A double-digit increase in stopover visitor arrivals is positive news for the Bahamian tourism industry. The Ministry of Tourism estimates that stopover visitor arrivals for the first 6 months of the year are up 15.2% compared to the same time last year. The numbers reflect a 110,000 increase. Tourism officials estimate stopover visitors spent on average $1,500 each, which suggests revenue for that period could have been some $165 million. The Grand Bahama Port Authority is helping to prepare students to take advantage of a career in the business process outsourcing sector, a growing business for Grand Bahama. Just over 2 years ago, the GBPA, in partnership with ITEL BPO Solutions, established the Contact Center Education Initiative. More than 1,000 students have completed the program since then. A little over 2 years ago, the GBPA and its partner ITEL BPO Solutions established Contact Center Education Initiative, and to date, more than 1,000 students have completed the program. It was intended that the start to serve the information and communications technology industry, but students are learning useful skills. The trade war between the United States and China has caused friction, eventually resulting in the slowdown of China's economy. The Hang Seng Index has now fallen into a decline in the stock market as tensions increase between two of the major players in the world economy. Hong Kong is now catching the heat as its currency, which is pegged to the US dollar, has sunken more than 20% of what it was in January 2018. This has been your Royal Fidelity Business News. I'm Crystal Darling.
G&M Appliances on Robinson Road has all your air conditioning needs this summer, like the Comfort Star 9000 and 12,000 BTU 13 SEER for just $399. Or how about the Comfort Star 18,000 BTU just $599? Or how about the Comfort Star 24,000 or 36,000 at the lowest prices possible? We also carry a wide selection of air conditioning parts such as fans, compressors, filters, capacitors, or any part you may need. So, call today at 328-2083. We're located on Robinson Road.
Free, reliable, anytime, anywhere, and instant. That's the benefits of using RBC's digital banking, ATM services, or mobile app. Pay bills, check account balances, transfer funds, and more. Enjoy the freedom of banking on your own terms. Why wait in line? Save time. Do your banking using RBC's digital banking, ATM services, or mobile app. Visit rbc.com/Caribbean to find out more.
We've all got plans for our golden years. Unfortunately for many, this may just be wishful thinking. To generate an annual income in retirement of $70,000 for 20 years at a rate of return of 5%, with inflation running at 3%, requires more than $1.1 million. So how do you save that much money? Many companies provide a group pension plan to help their employees by deducting an amount each month from their pay to contribute to the plan. Personal Pension Plan, or PPP, is similar to a group plan, but offered only to individuals. These plans offer many of the same benefits and features. Contact us for more information on pensions.
Thanks so much for staying with us, especially those of you watching us live on our social media platforms. While 1 in every 7 men will be affected by prostate cancer globally, Bahamian men are at greater risk as studies show that men with African ancestry have a more aggressive form of prostate cancer. It also is being reported that it shows up 10 years earlier in those men than their racial counterparts. That's why urologist Dr. Gregory Pinto says the key to survival is early detection.
Prostate cancer early, which all requires is a yearly annual blood test, a PSA, prostate-specific antigen blood test, we can cure you at almost 100% rate. So the 5-year survival of someone with early organ-confined prostate cancer is almost 100%. 10-year survival is about 98%. So prostate cancer, although it's going to affect a large number of Bahamian men, it's very treatable if we catch it early.
Dr. Pinto says most men get prostate cancer between the ages of 64 and 68 years old, and hundreds of Bahamian men are dying due to a fear of being violated during testing. He allays those fears, noting how the process is easier nowadays.
Since 2016, worldwide bodies have not completely disregarded, but they have found that there's very little validity in doing the routine digital exam, especially for men in their 40s. So that's not part of our screening process anymore. So I'm not going to do a digital exam if a man in their 40s comes to see me. All we're going to do is a routine blood test. If there's something abnormal, we'll do more specific blood tests. There's a urine RNA test that can pick up prostate cancer in terms of do you have low risk or high risk prostate cancer, and you can pick up prostate cancer at almost 98%.
The Sister Breast Cancer Group lends support to those who are diagnosed with the disease. And with that in mind, the organization will be hosting a celebration of life to raise funds for a worthy cause. A key part of the fundraiser is a silent auction for a 2019 Toyota Rush. Organizer Sandra Lee Edgar says bids will start at $25,000.
We're having a dinner dance on October 27th at the Balmoral. It's at 8 p.m. Cocktails start at 8 p.m. It's only a small donation of $125 when you're supporting such a serious cause. So it's really small, and we're hoping to get the community involved and to come out and support the group.
Edgar says she joined the organization because she believes in the cause and wants to make an effort to give back, and she encourages others to do the same.
I have several friends that were diagnosed, so I said, you know, it's time for me to give back as best as I can. And that's so far it's been my time. And as I grow in the organization, hopefully my wallet will grow as well, so I can give back some more of that as well.
As the Junkanoo season heats up, a new Junkanoo Museum will open its doors, showing off those fancy cultural pieces. LaDon Davis has this preview.
I have over 40 pieces of costumes on the floor of the museum.
It's called Juju Canoe, a Junkanoo art museum designed to give visitors and Bahamians alike a taste of what the country's #1 cultural expression has to offer all year round. Designer and tailor Victor Juju Johnson was influenced by the late architect and Junkanooer Jackson Burnside to carve out all things uniquely Bahamian to exhibit for future generations.
I do most like dances, small costumes. I can do just about everything in Junkanoo. And also I can do large costumes, but I choose not to simply because the host them is difficult. You need space. So I have thought that with myself, I at least do about 20 pieces of costume just about every year for different Junkanoos from different groups.
Johnson's cousin and designer Terrence Red-Eye McSweeney gave us a breakdown on the creativity behind most of the Junkanoo masterpieces on display in the museum.
You will see a special piece of a wedding dress out of crepe paper. You will see crepe paper being used in different art designs and form. You will see the different structures of costumes that he does. And being an experienced person who was trained and did his tailoring training over in New York, he has brought all that back home.
And while Johnson agrees that the Bahamas is rich with talent, he believes more must be done to promote Junkanoo products on the world stage. Johnson also credited the work of a Bahamian icon for sharing in his vision.
I see a lot of tourists walking about, no place to go, nothing to see. We don't have any entertainment for them as such like that. And you know, I admired a good friend of mine, Barabbas. He's doing a wonderful job in doing things like that, you know. And I thought about this about maybe 8-10 years ago to do this.
The Shell Saxon superstar at heart plans to do a soft launch at the end of the month. LaDawn Davis, ZNS Network News.
Thanks, LaDawn. Stay with us. There's more to come. You're watching the Bahamas Tonight at the National Report, your news leader.
There's only one place to find it all, and it's right here at the Builders Mall, where our friendly staff will provide you with everything your project needs.
From electrical supplies to lighting design.
An array of bathroom and plumbing fixtures.
Tools, lumber, shingles, and roofing materials. Everything for the contractor.
Or the do-it-yourselfer. For the perfect finishing touch, it's the Paint Center.
For a rainbow worth of colors, try Valspar Premium Paint.
Along with Minmax stains to help you finish a job.
Come, stop by next door at Tile King.
And browse an exquisite selection of tiles from around the world.
Plus, granite countertops and medallions.
Setting materials and a full line of Ruby tools for the wall, floor, patio, or pool.
Our standard is superior customer service.
And we are guaranteed to provide you with everything you need and more.
So don't waste time running from place to place.
Find it all at Builders Mall.
Bigger is better. Get more for your money with Robin Hood Flour. Next time you're at the food store, compare. At 5.5 pounds, Robin Hood Flour gives you more for your money. Bigger is better. Robin Hood Flour. Find it at your favorite food store.
Shell is taking you on an exciting journey with its summer promotion. Now through September 14th, enter for your chance to win a brand new 2018 Toyota Yaris. Just make a minimum purchase of $20 worth of fuel from any Shell service station in Nassau. Answer the skill question on the entry form and submit. The grand prize will be drawn on September 14th. Other weekly prizes include free fuel vouchers and VIP packages to see Jay-Z and Beyonce live in concert August 31st at the Hard Rock Stadium in Miami. For more info, visit their Facebook page at Sunoil Bahamas.
At Fourth Terrace Diagnostic Center, we provide imaging services to meet all your family's needs. Same goes for imaging at Grosvenor. We're the imaging experts. We never schedule multiple appointments, so you'll be in and out in no time. And if your initial screening reveals a concern, our radiology specialist can consult your doctor and conduct an alternative screening right then and there. Results are ready within 24 hours. Call 328-8157 to schedule an appointment at Fourth Terrace Diagnostic Center or Imaging at Grosvenor today.
It's time now for a check on the weather in your part of the Bahamas. And Chief Meteorologist Basil Dean joins us with the latest temperatures. Basil, everyone continues to watch the busy activity in the tropics.
Absolutely, and we can expect some large swells tomorrow as Florence moves between the Bahamas and Bermuda. Those swells will impact the north and eastern coast of the more easterly islands. We'll tell you all the details later in the newscast, so stay tuned. But right now, we're going to take a look at temperatures around the Family Islands, and they are brought to you by Family Guardian Insurance Company. We're protecting you. 86 degrees in Freeport, Grand Bahama, Grand Turkey, and Abaco, also Marshall, Abaco at 86 degrees, 84 in the Berry Islands, Alistan, Bimini at 85, 84 in Harbor Island, Roxanne, Eleuthera, Artisan, Cat Island, Stanley Key in the Zuma Chain, Camp Space, St. Andrews, and Fresh Creek, Central Andrews, all at 84 degrees. More 84s in San Salvador and Rumkey, Georgetown, Exuma at 83 degrees. Clarencetown, Betsy Bay, pardon me, at 83. Crooked Island, 84. Clarencetown, Long Island, 84. 83 in Acklands, Ragged Island, 84. Matchetown, Inagua, also 84 degrees. And the Turks and Caicos Islands at 82 degrees. Your boating forecast tonight is brought to you by Builders Mall, home of FYP, the Tile King, and the Paint Center. In the northwestern islands, light and variable winds with flat seas 1 to 3 feet over the ocean. High tide takes place at 9:01 tonight. For the central and southeastern islands, northeast to east winds 10 to 15 knots, the wave heights 2 to 4 feet. And then as we go into Wednesday for the northwestern islands, a northerly flow at 10 to 15 knots, wave heights 2 to 4 feet. High tide, well, that will take place at 9:28 in the morning, and at the same time we can expect some of those large swells to start working their way into the area. Low tide 3:46 in the afternoon. For the central and southeastern islands on Wednesday, light and variable winds, wave heights 1 to 3 feet with some moderate swells. And then on Thursday for the northwest Bahamas, once again the winds light and variable with flat seas. Moderate swells will remain as Florence, continue to move towards the west. High tide at 10:17 in the morning, low tide at 4:38 in the afternoon. For the central and southeastern islands on Thursday, the winds become southeast at 10 to 15 knots and the wave heights 2 to 4 feet. That's going to do it for your boating forecast. It's time now for your travel forecast, and your travel forecast is brought to you by Royal Star Assurance.
They call me Popcake. I'm in a poor state, yet I stay on guard. I protect their yard, they hardly feed me. Sometimes I'm so thirsty. They say I ain't got no pedigree. They don't love me, they only know me when they need me. They don't love me, they only know me when they need me. They tie me out in the burning sun.
And that's going to do it for your travel forecast brought to you by Royal Star Assurance. But stay tuned, your extended weather forecast is coming up in about 18 minutes.
Welcome to Tish for Wellness. I'm Dr. Indira Grimes. Moving more is essential. Not only will it help you keep up with your family, but keeping physically active also helps prevent certain forms of cancer, heart disease, high blood pressure, stroke, type 2 diabetes, and obesity. And don't forget about the mental benefits of exercise. Ever hear of the runner's high? Thanks to endorphins, hormones that are released by the body, which make you feel good after exercise. To add to that, exercise brings oxygen-rich blood to your brain, giving you more energy. And exercise promotes better sleep patterns. To improve your health, aim for at least 150 minutes per week of moderately intense aerobic activity. That's 30 minutes a day on 5 days of the week. This type of aerobic activity, like brisk walking or dancing, works out your heart. To lose weight and keep it off, you may need more. Aim for 300 minutes per week or an hour for 5 days. On at least 2 days per week, also try activities that strengthen your muscle. For example, lifting weights, doing push-ups, or even raking leaves or digging in the garden. This has been Tish for Wellness. I'm Dr. Indira Grimes. Live your best life by living well.
Whether it's for school lunch packs or football parties, Super Value and Quality Supermarkets has the specials you need this September, including Kellogg's Corn Flakes 24-ounce box, $3.99. Boneless chicken breast, $2.29 per pound. First Choice Sugar, 4-pound bag, $2.39. Hunt's Ketchup, 35-ounce bottle, $1.99. Cello Carrots, 5-pound size, $2.99. Pick Sweet Corn on the Cob, 8-count, or mixed vegetables, 16-ounce bag, $2.99. No matter the occasion, super value and quality supermarkets.
Every island and every key. Keep in touch with everybody. It's BTC every day. Every day, every day, every day.
I've had an amazing relationship with BTC as a small business. BTC gave me the opportunity to produce my first commercial in the Bahamas. BTC giving me my first opportunity to produce a commercial in the Bahamas. It led to so many other commercials, you know, most notably Bahamian, you know, Grammy Award-winning group. Most recently, a commercial for Domino's, which is really making a great buzz around. Even, you know, a PSA for the Bahamas National Trust, the Congon video. And all of these things, you know, all stem from doing work with BTC. It's amazing when big corporations like BTC give small businesses like me opportunities, because it gives us an opportunity to show that what we can do. And it really gives us the time to fly and showcase to the entire Bahamas that, you know, we could do it. You know, we could take on large projects. As a small business, my relationship with BTC has been amazing. And it was during the Olympics, the 2012 London Olympics, when our amazing Golden Knights, you know, when they did their thing. So I had an opportunity to create a commercial sort of around that, around them winning, you know, the Olympics, and also featuring Ariana Vanderpool and what she did. So that opportunity was amazing, because from that opportunity, it led to so many other opportunities in the Bahamas with commercials, music videos, and everything.
Every island and every key. Keep in touch with everybody. It's BTC every day. Every day, every day, every day. Every day is a new day.
ZNS Total Sports is brought to you by Fourth Terrace Diagnostic Center.
Welcome to sports, everybody. Jason Williams competing this morning in the repechage stage at the World Rowing Championships in Bulgaria. He was fifth in his heat in 7 minutes, 55.32 seconds, and he will now row in the D semifinals, and that will be on Thursday. There have been a number of claims in which Bahamian student athletes have been denied entrance into the United States. This is what Minister of Foreign Affairs, the Honourable Darren Henfield, had to say on that matter.
Bahamians feel traditionally and historically that, you know, we have a birthright to travel to the U.S., and this is something that the sentiment that I often share with the officials in the U.S. Embassy and in Washington when I have an opportunity to speak on this subject. But the grant of a visa, as you well know, is a proprietary right within the confines or remit of the country that grants the visa. And when an individual go before an officer, a consular officer, and they might answer in a way that the consular officer does not deem they should answer to be granted a visa, then that person could very easily and readily be turned away.
Minister Henfield went into further detail on why a student athlete may be turned away.
A student who has a full ride scholarship to go play basketball for the University of North Carolina, let's just use that one as an example. And he's asked by a consular officer in the U.S. Embassy, why are you going to the United States? He's actually going for an education. He's going on an academic scholarship, but he's an athlete. And if he says, or she says, well, I'm going to play ball, then you could potentially be flagged. And so we're looking into all of these reports right now actively. We're talking constantly with the Americans about how we could better facilitate our students in particular.
One way to avoid the student visa saga is to attend the University of the Bahamas and become a Mingo. Bacchus Roll is the head coach of UB's men's basketball team, and he spoke about some of the players who will suit up for the upcoming season.
This team is different from last year's team. Even though we do come back with a core, Captain Ramon James, shooting guard Justin Smith, and of course, highlight scorer Kimsey Sylvester. We had a slasher forward Tyrone Sands. We had a three-man in the person of Trayvon Nichols. Very good slasher. He's shown us that he has some heart in some earlier games this year. And of course, to solidify the inside, we've added Mr. Anton Bevins, 6'6". Really, he's going to be a big center for us, but he's a real strong power forward and a force to reckon with on the inside.
Now, while the Mingos will continue to compete against foreign colleges and universities, they also resume play locally in the Providence Basketball Association, and expectations are high this time around.
Each year we've been progressing step by step by step, winning playoff games, going deep into the playoffs. So really, if we're not going to the championship locally this year and possibly even on to a national title, then the year may be considered a loss.
Government League basketball on the floor last night at the AF Adderley Gym. The Defense Force Mariners and the Department of Correction Challengers up first. This one going down to the wire with the Mariners holding on by the slimmest of margins, 72-71.
With this team, you have to be strong. I don't see no heart attack coming no time soon. This team got my heart strong, man. Overall, the game for us it was a little kind of sloppy, not as fluent as I would have liked it to be. You know, my team have a lot more in them. We got to work on defense, boxing out especially, layups. I mean, you know, you still learn them from high school, but right now we just we had a layoff, so everybody just trying to get back, and then they have a lot of guys off, so we trying to get our chemistry back. But we gonna be all right, man. That's the team to beat. I think the Glastonbury Panthers, right now they can stay the number. They're sitting in the number 1 spot. We should be about 2nd or 3rd right now. Cybots is also no slouch. We haven't met them as yet, so when we beat them, that could be another battle.
Panthers, they're still undefeated. What's going to take to beat them, you think?
What I think will happen to them, their head can get too big, they can run out of gas down the stretch.
As for last night's featured game, the Aces had an easier time with the Police Crime Stoppers winning 71-58. Mark Hanna led the victors with 21 points. Brian Tucker Bain was hot from behind the three-point arc. He finished up with 19. On the losing side, Vernon Stubbs, the lone Crime Stopper, in double figures. He would finish up with 12 points.
Going pretty good. We should be better than what we are. As long as we get these guys to come out to practice, we'll be much better. The playoffs is right around the corner, so hopefully we can have a great run.
Panthers still undefeated. How do you beat those guys?
We just got to come out and play to beat those guys. Those guys are on a hype now. Hats off to them. They're playing good basketball right now.
The start of the high school basketball season is still a ways off, but C.I. Gibson coach Kevin K.J. Johnson already putting in the work.
We are very young this year. I've made a lot of changes to the program this year and the team, and we are young, talented, but very young. And I think we'll definitely be in the running to compete and make a run at it again.
Here in the Bahamas, multiple sports don't tend to run the same time in the school system as is done in the U.S. We asked Coach Johnson if he believes this is due to the fact that we have a much smaller pool of athletes.
I don't think so. I think it's a cop-out. Transportation might be a little issue, but you could work that out. Say volleyball and basketball, maybe the gyms or whatever, but I think that early on, like later part of the volleyball season, basketball could start. Because when it gets to the playoff, they usually use one gym. So you could use the other gyms for basketball and get it started so we'll have enough games so the kids will benefit. Now, we may have 1 or 2 players playing volleyball, fine. It's a long season. Same thing with soccer. You know, a lot of them run track and stuff like that, but at the end of the day, give the soccer kids the benefit of the doubt to play more games so they could benefit. You know, track have a season. You know, we have a lot of clubs which benefit a lot of the schools in terms of the track club, and every meet every Saturday, which is good. But at the end of the day, we need all sports to benefit. And baseball, you know, much scholarship opportunity for baseball out there and professionalism for baseball, but we only play 1 round of baseball. We need to think about that, man. You know what I mean? So the opportunities are there. We just need to sit down and make it happen.
Kayla Nixon recently represented the Bahamas at the Pan American Bowling and Federation Senior Championships in Canada. She believes more needs to be done for the sport locally, especially at the national team level.
I'm disappointed because bowling is not recognized as a sport, I mean, for us. But, you know, the other countries, they are well equipped. All their equipment is paid for. Their countries would support them, and everything that they do, everything is paid for. We have to go and solicit sponsors to go off, which is unfortunate. And, you get disappointed a lot, but nevertheless, you still try to go and support the countries. You have to beg for uniforms, beg for sponsors, beg for equipment, but all these things we have to do on our own. But, like I say, the country, United States, the coaches and everybody is on point. They have their coaches and their representatives from different parts of the world. A lot of them go to Kegel. Some of us can't afford to go to Kegel. Kegel is a bowling school in the United States that some of our bowlers just, try to go and do our own thing, so we can learn more about the sport. But if you love it, then, you just try to do your best and move on.
Like bowling, darts also looking for more recognition, and so they are planning to go in a different direction.
What we're trying to do this season is try and promote more of the youth program because we have a lot of talent in the Bahamas, but it's not getting spread about. So annually, we normally have the Gold Cup and the Masters for the rest of the Caribbean islands to come together and meet and compete. So this year, we're trying our best to start with the youth program. And we done started it actually last year, but we're trying to get it bigger so we can try and even venture into the schools.
Nathan Eldon is one of the youngsters involved in the game, and he's already had the opportunity to compete overseas.
I started darts 2 years ago because my dad used to play, so he encouraged me to play as well. But going to the Caribbean Cup was a wonderful experience, getting to shoot against such wonderful competitors. And it was wonderful to be able to win against people with much more experience than I have.
And that will do it for sports. Stay tuned. The Bahamas Tonight comes back after the break.
ZNS Total Sports is brought to you by Fourth Terrace Diagnostic Center.
Life happens, and when it does, FG Insurance Agents and Brokers is here. We help you protect the assets you've worked hard to attain. We offer home, auto, marine, commercial, and liability insurance. Don't hesitate to protect what matters with FG Insurance Agents and Brokers. Visit us and speak to your agent today. Or call us at 396-1490 in Nassau or 688-1500 in Freeport.
Little Generals on East Street South is well known for the best quality and lowest prices on all your grocery and houseware needs. Little Generals has a large selection of meats, produce, dairy items, water and juices, all your favorite snacks, housewares, vegan products, gourmet items, and health supplements. Anything you can think of, it's all sold right here at Little Generals. Little Generals also provides the best customer service, making you want to come back again and again. So visit Little Generals today on East Street South. Call 325-5798.
If you own a portfolio of securities within a brokerage account, like stocks, bonds, or mutual funds, you can access a hassle-free loan, known as a margin loan, based on the value of that portfolio. Your investment portfolio is essentially used as collateral for a cash loan. And the benefits are numerous. Simple and straightforward application, quick turnaround, a more competitive interest rate, no requirement for monthly payments. Contact us for more information on margin loans.
Everybody, are you on TV? Look, are you on TV? Mom, guess what it is? That's me. Bartender, do you see me? Are you on television? I gotta tell my girlfriend I'm on television.
Hello?
Babe, turn your television to ZNS. Quick, are you on television?
I don't have a TV in there.
We have Wi-Fi, though.
We have Wi-Fi.
That's fine. They upgrade now. You can watch it live from your phone. You just have to download the app.
All right, hold on.
Go to the App Store, type in ZNS, download the app, and you'll be able to watch ZNS straight from your phone. Hurry up and start over again.
Get your news and more anytime, anywhere with the new ZNS app. Stay connected from around the globe with our live stream news updates, all in the palm of your hand. You can also listen to the ZNS Radio Network for your favorite music. Go into your Apple or Google Play Store and download the ZNS app today.
Present check. Miss I's a star now. I still gotta pay?
Time now for weather.
In our final look at weather, we have this area of disturbed weather in the northwest Caribbean Sea. It's going to pass over the Yucatan Peninsula by tomorrow, and once it gets into the Gulf of Mexico, we expect it to develop into a tropical depression or even a tropical storm, but no threat to the Bahamas. And then we have Tropical Storm Isaac just to the east of the Lesser Antilles. Isaac is packing winds of 70 miles per hour. It's moving towards the west at 17 miles per hour, and we anticipate that warnings would go up for the middle portion of the Lesser Antilles later on tonight, in particularly Dominica, Guadeloupe, and Martinique. Those are the islands that are likely to put up warning flags later on tonight. And again, no threat to us until about Friday when that system gets about here. We'll see what happens with that high pressure system. If it recedes, it means we can have an early recurvature, could pose a threat, but until then, we will just wait and see. But the big news tonight is Florence is a very powerful and dangerous hurricane packing winds of 140 miles per hour, taking aim for North Carolina. And I advise you, if you have loved ones in the Carolinas, this will be a good time to advise them to ensure that they get out of there and move away from the coast as far inland and seek higher grounds, as this is going to be a very dangerous storm. It's carrying heavy winds, which can cause catastrophic damage. In addition to that, very heavy storm surge up to 13 feet are expected to impact the coast of the Carolinas on Thursday night, heading into Friday morning. And in addition to that, we expect this system to slow down once it gets overland, and that means you're going to have an accumulation of rainfall, which will lead to catastrophic flooding as well. So a very dangerous and powerful storm heading towards the Carolina. But as it passes the Bahamas tomorrow, we can anticipate some large sea swells, which will impact the Abacos, the Eleutheras, the Cat Islands, and even here in New Providence, we would get some moderate sea swells starting from about around 7 o'clock in the morning. That will continue into the early afternoon, particularly during high tide. And the forecast track, as you can see, Florence will continue moving west-northwest, shifting towards the northwest, maintaining that Category 4 status until it makes landfall on Thursday. And then Isaac continuing to move quite west, remaining as a tropical storm for most of its journey into the Caribbean Sea. And then we have that other system. We expect that to just turn into the Gulf of Mexico. No threat to the Bahamas, continuing to move towards the northwest, meaning Texas and those areas should brace themselves for some heavy rainfall once that system gets going. Forecast for tonight, patchy clouds a bit on the warm side, 1 or 2 brief showers developing late, low temperatures 79 degrees, and tomorrow, look at another pretty nice day, but there would be 1 or 2 brief showers in the morning, things clearing up by mid-morning, heading into the afternoon, high temperature getting up to 89 degrees. The extended weather forecast, apart from 1 or 2 brief morning showers, and then those showers returning again on Thursday morning, the weekend is looking pretty good with lots of sunshine in the forecast. So there you have it, Altuiz, and the weekend is looking good, but we have to wait and see that we get Florence out of here quite nicely, and brace yourselves for those large swells beginning tomorrow morning.
And we want to, thanks so much, Basil. And we want to encourage everyone across the Bahamas to stay tuned to the ZNS television and radio networks for the latest weather alerts. Well, that does it for the Bahamas tonight. On behalf of our teams here in Nassau and over in Freeport, thanks so much for watching. Have a great evening, everyone.
You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.